There's a moment when you realize this isn't your life anymore and it's time for a change. Sit, speak your truth.
All right, so I'm getting ready to answer your question. You may not want to hear it. I'm going to ask it anyway. If you were to lose your income tomorrow, how long could you and your family last? Could you make it 30 days? 45 days? Do you have enough to cover your mortgage, your rent? Will you be able to get food? Are you going to be able to pay your gas and electric bill, your light bill? Will you be able to keep gas in the car? Will you be able to pay your car insurance? Will you be able to pay your life insurance? If you were to lose your income, where would you and your family be in 30 days? And this is a very important question to be asking nowadays, because I had to think about this, back in 2020, when we know what happened along those lines. I had a job, I was with the state, but the job that I had was very stressful. And it was a lot of pressure. And even though during that time I was working from home, I did not have a peace in my spirit. And on top of that, I was full-time caregiver to my father, who had been diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer. And so that was a full-time job on top of the full-time job that I was already doing. And I was in a relationship that did not really garner me much support emotionally. And when you're going through something like that, that's really what you need. So I had a lot going on, and none of it really felt good to me at the time. And I just started doing a lot of thinking over my life as a child, what I saw my parents go through. My parents separated when I was pretty young. I think it was probably about 13, 14. And of course, I live with my mom. My sister and I live with my mom. It was just very difficult. She worked very hard. My parents never divorced. She never got child support. She rarely got any help. Not that it wasn't there. It's just that, the mindset of my father was not as such during that time. And I watched my mother, as a head nurse for Johns Hopkins Hospital, just work all the time. She just worked all the time. The only time I saw my mom was when she was coming in from a shift. She usually did doubles. They call them doubles. 7 to 3, 3 to 11, or 3 to 11, 11 to 7. She did doubles 5, 6 days a week. It's difficult. And I want you parents out there to understand that even though your children may not be able to articulate what they're seeing when they look at you, or how that makes them feel inside, I need you to understand that they see it and they feel it. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we have been kind of brainwashed into thinking that this is the only way to live. You get a job, you work hard. Sometimes you work 2 jobs, trying to make ends meet for your family. And that's what life is supposed to be. And I'm here to tell you that that is the greatest lie ever told. That is not how life is supposed to be for you. You shouldn't be working and working and working and working and working, just trying to provide for your family, and you never see your family. You don't get a chance to really spend quality time with your family. You're tired all the time. You don't have the energy for your children. That is not a good look for you or for them. And you don't have to live like that. I remember when my father was getting farther along in his diagnosis, and our relationship had been strained most of my life for obvious reasons, just gleaned from what I've already expressed to you. But he was still my father, and I was not going to have him suffer or be alone during a time when he needed someone most. But I'll never forget that I had went to his house, and I used to go over and cook for him, and I would prep his food and blend him all kinds of smoothies. And I was putting all kinds of stuff, turmeric and ginger and just things trying to, help his system heal. And I was doing a lot of research. And during this time, we got really close. I'm very grateful for the time that I had with my dad during his, his final years. And I was leaving one day and he walked me to the door. And I remember I was going out the door and my dad kind of grabbed my arm. My father was a military officer. He was a colonel. I have a fly, so please excuse me. And being emotional is not something that he typically was, ever, that I can recall. But this one day he grabbed my arm and said, Zelina, when I leave, he used to always reference it as when the big bell tolls for me. He said, I want you to promise me something. And I said, sure, Dad, what is it? He said, you have always been the one to show up. When I didn't show up, you showed up in my place. He said, I was lost and I'm so sorry. I said, Dad, it's okay. He said, I want you to promise me that you do with your life whatever it is that you want to do. Do the things that bring you joy and happiness. Live your best life and promise me that you'll live it. I didn't think much about it. I said, sure, Dad, absolutely, I promise. In hindsight, what he was telling me in his own way was, do not go down the road that I went down. Don't work yourself and spend all of your time working and forget about the things that are important, like your friends and your family and your dreams, your desires. When we're children, we have the biggest dreams in the world. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be president of the United States. I want to, be, famous. I want to whatever. We have these big dreams. And then we let the lie creep in, right? You have to work for money. And the more money you want, the harder you have to work. It's all a lie. It's all a facade. Will money come with hard work? Sure. It'll come just as easily if you just have a system. So long story as I go around this George's barn leads me to Legacy Builders, which is what I found to help me build wealth and financial freedom for myself. This really touches home for me, especially as a woman, just, having watched my mom struggle so much. And I just think to myself every day, if this had been around back then and I would have seen it, maybe things would have turned out differently for me and my family. But, it may be too late for mine, but it doesn't have to be too late for yours. If you're one of those people that just works hard and you're diligent and a loyal employee and you show up every day and you never call in sick and you rarely take a vacation and you think that somehow that's going to make a difference to these people, I'm here to tell you it will not. And even if you don't have a husband or children or grandchildren or your family circle is small or your friend circle is small, I want you to understand something. You're not small. You deserve the right to live your very best life, and you can. But we must break the mindset that the only way to earn money is the hard way, because that is absolutely not true. And there are 60,000 plus people that participate and are members of Legacy Builders that have bought this system and have learned that that is not true. You can free up your time. You can free up your energy to do the things in life that have meaning for you. You don't have to stay on the hamster wheel. So if you're ready to learn how you can create financial freedom for yourself, for your family, so that you can live your best life, please click the link in my bio or just comment Legacy below. It is not too late. I don't care how old you are. You can do this. It is much, much easier than you could possibly realize. And there is nothing better than waking up in the morning and checking your phone and seeing that while you were sleeping, you got paid. All right. That's all I have for you, lovelies. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate you. If you are new, welcome. I should have said that in the beginning. If you're returning, thank you. And please, if you have any comments for me or any questions, drop them in the comment field. Click like, subscribe, share, and I will see you tomorrow. You all have a blessed Sunday. Take care. Bye.